All right. So I was watching this YouTuber, DZeef, the YouTuber. Yeah, that was it. DZeef, that was it. That was pretty much like this, and I thought, hey, that'd be pretty cool. So I asked Ferbus, one of my mods in Dream Bomb, if he could work on this thing, and he did. So shout out to Ferbus. And my hair looks like it's greasy, but I swear it's not. It's actually soft right now. My avatar has the colorful sweater, and I'm not wearing it right now. But sorry for the clickbait, everyone. I didn't feel like wearing the sweater because it's hot enough in my room as it is. Okay, so weapon. You guys may or may not know, I'm not a weapons guy. In History of Kamen Rider, I like never bring up the weapons because it's a sword. It's a gun. I don't know. I don't know what you guys would want me to say. Like it's a colorful sword. There's a sword with sunglasses. So like I don't know. You guys are gonna be a little upset when I say this is my favorite weapon. Let me list a few off the top of my head that I kind of considered. The sunglass slasher I think was like the silliest slash like most imaginative weapon to me, especially with the icons putting in and is putting into the to make it look like eyes under sunglasses. That's pretty cool. Faiza's henshin devices are also guns. That's cool. Gaim has a sword, a gun. Okay, I've said enough. So my favorite Kamen Rider weapon. My favorite Kamen Rider weapon is the Delta gun. It's a gun. It counts. I'm gonna say that's my favorite weapon. And I have the Delta gun over there somewhere. In fact, let me go get it out real quick. It looks cool. It shoots. It's a gun. There. Let's move on to the next one. I didn't have to think about favorite gimmick as much as I did for weapons. Out of all the gimmicks, I've always liked cards. Blade, Ryuki, Decade had cards. I've always really enjoyed card gimmicks. I love the advent decks. They feel really good to hold in your hand because you hold them like this and then you like transform. And I'm not really into progress keys. I like them, but I'm not really into them. I like ride watches, so those were really close to being up there too. Disc animals were really awesome too. I have a couple of disc animals. It's really fun to just transform them and then put them back into discs. Like they're so flat, but you can make them to like into these 3D animals, and I really like that. Gashats are pretty cool. I like the Gashats a lot. O's medals are probably like my least favorite gimmicks because like they're little circles and that's it. They have little designs on them. Sometimes you can't even see the designs because of how clear they are. Full bottles, I guess they're okay, but I didn't really care for them that much. Lock seeds are pretty cool too. I really like lock seeds. Neo Amazon injecting drugs is best gimmick. I didn't consider that, but I wouldn't put that as my favorite now that I think about it. So my favorite gimmick of Kamen Rider would have to be the icons. I really like icons. I know that sounds a little weird, but I love the icons so much because they're not just little flat circles. They're these 3D circles, and they're fun to click. I would bring mine out, but they're over there. The fact that they're like historical figures in a gimmick, that's really awesome. I can collect Hanzo and I can collect the Brothers Grimm in the same collection. And it wouldn't look weird because they're part of the same gimmick, and I think that's really cool. I love the icons, and I didn't really factor this into them. The sounds, I really love the jingles for the icons. They're some of my favorite ever. Next up is suits. You guys may or may not have seen my countdown on favorite Kamen Rider suits. I've talked about it extensively enough as it is. Kamen Rider has such amazing suits. Delta is one of my favorites ever. Delta's one of my favorites. Phi is the fact how they glow in the first place is really awesome. Drive has some amazing suits. The Amazon suits, they're gorgeous. I only factored the look of the suit. I didn't factor like the character. I talk a lot about how much I love the new Dano suit because It looks so good. I love the shade of blue. I love the tracks that stick out. I love the helmet. I love the sword. I love New Dano a lot. I only had like one very short passing sentence when I talked about Hibiki, about his suits. I just said the suits look really beautiful. That's all I said. But I do think the Hibiki suits are great. Hibiki himself, I don't enjoy as much as the others, because I love Todoroki's, I love Ibuki's, but Hibiki's base suit, I'm whatever about. Everything else, though, in Hibiki is beautiful. I love the Hibiki suits. Ichigo is a classic, but I didn't really like it that much. 01 suits, even though I praise the suits, I personally don't like them as much as other people do. I think they're okay. I like the base 01 suit. I can say a suit looks really good, and I myself don't enjoy them as much. Yeah, there's so many great suits I could talk about. Kabuto has great suits. Forze has great suits. I don't think there's a single season where there hasn't been a single good suit. Jeez, they're all so good. And even Showa has some really iconic designs. I rambled on enough about the suits. I just love these designs so much. And one of the reasons why I got into Kamen Rider in the first place is because they look really cool. And it might come off as a bit surprising, since we literally just had this in the previous category. But my favorite suit is Kamen Rider Ghost Mugen Damashi. I know, it's crazy, right? It's crazy, mind-blowing. What the heck? What is that thing? Why is it so sparkly? But I'm saying it's really, really pretty. I love the Ghost Mugen Damashi suit. It's gorgeous, especially like in the debut when like the feathers are falling around and there's like a light coming out from him. It is a beautiful suit. It's like my favorite of all time. I love it. New Dano was really, really, really close. Zoronos was another really close one. Mugen Damashi, it is beautiful. I love it. I don't get when people say it's too sparkly or it's too shiny, but like, yeah, so I love that. I love that it's sparkly. I love that it's shiny. I might say shiny a bit too much in these things, but like I guess I'm a simple man. I see shiny, I like. Ooh, it's shiny. And Ghost Mugen is probably one of the shiniest ones ever. History of Ghost spoiler here. No, I don't like Ghost. I love Ghost aesthetic, but I don't like Ghost the season. As you can tell, because I love Ghost's music, I love its suits, I love its gimmick, I love its jingles, but I don't like the season. So next category is going to be favorite Kamen Rider movie. I don't think I've ever talked about... Oh, hi, Liz.
Hi.
What are your favorite Kamen Rider weapon, gimmicks, and suits?
My favorite suit, I really appreciate Joker. I really like Joker. I like that he has like a black suit, and he's really cool, and he has a good rider kit. Huh? I like icons as well. And I remember when my mom worked for Amazon, I remember she told me that she she packed a Billy the Kid icon at Amazon, and then she told me that it was really beat up.
Dang, if Rider Machine was on here, I would say it'd be the horse from Ichigo. Favorite movie. I had a bit of tough trouble thinking about this one. I never said my favorite movie before. I've said like some of my favorites. Like I like Surprise Future. That's one of my favorites. True Ending is a really good movie to me. The most obvious ones people are going to point to are the Generations movies, including Reiwa. There might be some like recency bias when it comes to like over Quartzer or Reiwa the First Generation. As I said in my review, I just thought the First Generation was okay. I liked it. It was fun, but it was okay. I can see why people would enjoy it a lot more than I would, and while I was thinking through this stuff, Agito G4 is actually a really, really, really good Kamen Rider movie to me.
I agree.
I know people got really mad about placing Jikenda as number one, and I said nothing in my top 30 movie themes. I did that for a reason, and it's because I want you to look up the song and you might see me writing a whole paragraph on that video. But moving on, episode final, I thought was pretty fun. I don't like Ryuki or Agito, and I still think their movies are pretty good. When it comes to the Tyson movies, geez, G3 I think is the worst one. I know people prefer that one, but I think it's the worst one. Chosibiro Tyson I think is like the second best one. I didn't really like the first one. I didn't really like Tyson Z. To me, Showa versus Heisei is the best one. I know people are gonna think that's crazy because they like other Rider movies. Sorry, I'm not good at thinking off the top of my head.
My favorite movie was Zeto.
Zeto?
Yeah, it's like its own movie.
Zeto is great. I've watched that so many times by now. It's if there's anything Showa I absolutely love, like outright love, it would be the Zeto movie.
If anything, it's like the easiest to watch.
Oh
in my
yeah,
opinion,
definitely.
Out of all the movies, because like it's own standalone story anyhow.
I wouldn't say that I want a Zeto season because a Zeto movie was just so good on its own.
Yeah, and if a Zeto season like actually happened, we wouldn't have Gar.
Yeah. It was pretty easy to pick. I had to think about it, but at the end it was pretty easy because I thought about this movie first, and then when I thought about other movies, this one just kept staying at the top forever. So, my favorite Kamen Rider movie ever is gonna have to be Heisei Generations, the original. X8's one of my favorite seasons. Having 5 Legend Riders coming together, and 4 of them are actually like you see their face. It reminds me of like Forever Red in a way, but like with these are Kamen Riders and they come together. And then when they henshin like all at the same time next to each other, it's beautiful. Battle game, Hikari, great movie themes. The fight scenes are phenomenal. I think they're some of the most iconic fights in the history of Kamen Rider. The story itself is really good because when it comes to a movie, it can either be standalone or it could be part of the overall story. And I love how Heisei Generations is part of the X8 story. Like, you kind of have to see Heisei Generations in order to enjoy the whole story because they bring up Dr. Pac-Man, they bring up the events of Heisei Generations in the show, they talk about it in the V cinemas. Like, it's an impactful part of the story. And even if you don't watch X8, even if you don't watch the other seasons, it's still a really, really fun movie. And I just love Heisei Generations. It's so great, Hyjin. I think it's the Rider movie I watched the most. I think I've seen it like 6 times by now, and that's not an exaggeration. I've seen it a lot. And when I talk about the history of X8, you're going to see me gush about this movie for like an hour. At this point, I really, really love Heisei Generations. I guess you guys wanted to bring up the other Generations movies. As I said, I just think Reiwa's Generations okay. Generations Forever, that's the third one with Geo build.
That's the Geo one build.
Yeah, I thought that was good, but not having multiple Legend Riders return for Heisei Generations Forever. That kind of lost points for me. I mean, it's not their fault.
Yeah.
They could only do so much. I mean, Ryotaro returning was awesome. That alone gave it points, but it's called Heisei Generations. I would expect a bit more, you know.
Multiple generations.
The story I thought was pretty good in Forever. I liked it, but I just like the first Generations more. Heisei Generations Final I thought is one of the best too. It's really good. It's right up there. And of course, the Legend Riders return. They got like harder to get actors like Gakusano, Koza Kazuraba, Kamen Gaim. They got him, and Forge's actor, who we never thought would be back ever. And the story was pretty fun there too. I guess what deterred me was first Heisei Generation was just better. Don't at me.
Like I really wish they got Ryoma Takeuchi back because that just would have been like a good lineup of like writers like from at least to O's to up to build like I don't know.
Personally, I think better than the first Heisei Generation movie.
Which one?
Final.
I think both of them are fine. It's just that I find the story, the plot of Final to be more coherent, and it connects well with build in itself.
All right.
You already know mine. Reiwa the First Generation. The thing is that with Reiwa the First Generation, I really, really love the story with Aruto and his dad. Entire like flashback to what happened before like well, not before, but the whole time stuff with the time jacker, it's like it's at least showing us most of what actually happened before the time jacker messed with it, and that really intrigued me because this isn't something we're gonna like see 100% in the show. So seeing it happen and realizing, oh, that Naruto's father was actually a Kamen Rider trying to save the human years and stop the satellite from getting enlarged.
Yeah,
that stuff was like really, really good for me, and I'm just like I'm so invested in this story for Naruto, and
I love Sorio.
So I'll just say one more thing before we move on to OSTs. Toei, please bring back Joe Kuga. Thank you. Okay,
Joe
so
Cook.
never.
No.
Joe Kuga.
Joe Cook.
Favorite OST. As much as I talk about music in Kamen Rider, I don't really bring up the OST, so here I'll just gush about it. Kamen Rider music is really freaking good. How dare you?
Yeah, it's like it
bye,
does
everyone.
like more than set the mood.
Everyone compliments Kiva's music, but I can't remember a single background music from it. Hibiki had some really nice atmospheric music. X8, I listened to that OST like a lot. I love the X8 OST. Build had really nice background music. 01 so far has some really nice music. And I'm not just talking about vocal themes. I'm talking about like the background music, the atmosphere, the music that plays when like people are just talking. Ghost, I think, had some really beautiful music.
That's what's good.
The only one that stands out is Kuga's. Yeah, honestly.
My favorite would have to be Gimes, since I really love that mix of rock and the traditional Japanese music.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
was so-
vocals,
so fucking good.
not
The one for
the
Guy really
actual
stands out for me.
lyrics,
I like doubles.
Oh,
OST,
doubles.
just
Oh, man.
the smooth
So-
jazz.
Yeah.
And, like,
It's
the
so
cool,
good.
like,
It's so jazzy. It's great.
I'm surprised none of you, even in chat, and Liz, I'm especially surprised.
What?
Because my favorite OST in Kamen Rider is Kamen Rider Black RX's OST. Black RX has some of the best instrumentals, the best non-vocal themes ever. The Henshin theme, the talking themes, the themes were like this building up to the battles. I love Black RX's OST. It is great, and whenever I make my top 10 best of the best
I was
Kamen
gonna
Rider
mention,
music,
yeah.
you guys will see Black on there like 3 times. I love Black RX. It's so great. Hi, Jasmine.
That one RX song that you used for your older videos of history of
Oh
Kamen
yeah,
Rider.
at the beginning.
I think that's called Unmei no Senshi. It's great.
Yeah.
I love it. Wake up, the hero. Oh, man, I love Black RX. So it's outside of like this Kamen Rider and YouTube stuff, I'm a musician, as you can see. I play everything.
The
So
ukulele.
music is very important to me, and that's why I love talking about the music, and especially the OST. Let's move on to favorite series. I'm sure you mean season, but series could mean any. Well, either way. Okay.
Hibiki.
Well, Jin.
G.
I'm just saying these are my favorite as a whole. Amazons, Hibiki, X8, Deno, and you guys know. Obviously, I talk about it so much. I say it so much. Obviously, you guys know what it is. It's obviously Kamen Rider Kiva. We're gonna go with Hibiki. Obviously.
Yeah.
It's no surprise to anyone. Hibiki is like my favorite season ever. It's really short, surprisingly, for only being 29 episodes, but like, I love Hibiki anyway. It's great. Liz, wait, what's your favorite season?
Kuga.
Ew.
It's Kuga. Why?
Jason?
Drive or double.
Those are great too.
Doubles up there, yeah.
I mean,
It's Kuga.
for me,
Yeah.
it should be obvious.
Yeah.
It's also Kuga, Jin.
No, it's Drive.
Dang it. He says, what's my favorite V-Cinema / Hyper Battle video?
Ooh.
That's easy.
Ooh.
The Fi's Hyper Battle video, it
I
is
know.
the most out there thing I've ever seen, and it's great. I love it.
Is that the
Yeah.
one where Takumi holds the vacuum?
Yes, where they're all singing together.
I like the Kabuto one where Katak turns into hyper form.
Oh yeah, and the Zectors are talking to each other. I love that too.
Yeah.
The double one where they're like in a cooking show, and they actually brought in like one of Japan's famous chefs to like voice the frog to like
Yeah.
that one's fun too. Next up is favorite Kamen Rider insert theme, which should be obvious. I
dang.
just made I made a countdown about this not too long ago.
Like Ranbu
Interesting.
escalation.
Yeah. It's Mitsuzane's one, actually.
Wait, he had
Oh,
one?
Yeah, Point of No Return.
Yeah, Point of No Return. That's right.
Yeah.
For me,
Cyclone.
it's Cyclone Effect is one of them. There's also Double Action Axe Form because I just fucking love the Enka vibe into it. Tokino Oja because I just love the whole meaning of the song for Sogo.
I love
like
Tokinoja.
Exciting X Attitude. Yeah, that's the
Exciting
one.
X Attitude with the Rider Girls, right? Oh,
Yeah.
I was about to
Wow.
say Spinning Wheel,
Yeah.
but I'm just like, Exciting X Attitude gets me so hyped.
My favorite insert song is Hohoemi no Yuke, which is from Kamen Rider Zeto. It's like a lyric version of the Pocket Watch theme.
Next New World, obviously. So yeah. All right. So favorite Kamen Rider ending song. There's only 2 in Heisei, but all the Showa writers have one. Black RX has a really nice ending theme too.
Black RX's ending thing, Kokoro Tamago.
It should be pretty obvious. It's Shonen Yo from Hibiki. All right, favorite theme song, every pony. I already made a countdown about this too, so you guys are.
I like Alive Alive.
Love Light's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Danny?
That one's so good. I don't know what's about that song, but every time I hear it, I just get nostalgic.
Mm-hmm.
I like both Neo and
Because
the original.
it's Japanese.
It sounds like a trot song, if you know what I mean.
It is
So-
Japanese Ash Ketchum.
They share the same birthday as the actress, which I only found out like recently. The only 2 I don't think I really like are Kabuto's and Kiva's. It's not my taste.
Did you hear Beverly's version?
Oh yeah.
Um,
that was-
Wait, there's a. Oh my
Yeah, she
God.
sang it at a live concert, I think,
I didn't know that was
recently.
a thing.
Whoa.
It's pretty obvious. Mine is
Ghost.
obviously Kiva. JK. It's Wizard. Wait, is it? I don't watch my own videos, so like, what?
It was Climax Jump.
Oh. Let me fix that real quick. It's Dano. Haha. Favorite tertiary writer.
Taiga, because he gets shafted in every power up he gets. But he gets shafted, and I feel so sad after.
I'm happy to hear he's still doing well.
I like the tertiaries for their suits. I like Delta's
Yeah,
suit, but not.
Delta.
Wouldn't that make Date the third writer? Because Date is Proto-Birth.
You're a Date. Put down Chase here, as you guys can see.
Yes, as you should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chase is really awesome. I love his story. I love his character. I love his suit. His suit's gorgeous. I would do a lot of things with that suit, like put it on and wear it. And
Put it in a
Oh
jar.
my god.
What?
Stop.
I prefer Todoroki more. Sorry, guys.
I like Valkyrie, guys.
Don't ask me.
So we're moving on to secondary now?
This is an easier show.
Rider Man.
It's obviously, come on, Kaiser.
Me
It's Rider
too.
Man.
Oh no.
Chalice.
Chalice. Chalice.
What about Tachibana-san?
Tachibana-san's a big
No,
meme. We don't like him. We don't like big memes in our chat.
What
Excuse me, Tachibana is a
Please.
4th writer.
Nito's cool. Fuwa's okay. Axel's cool. Zeronos is cool. Diana's
Kaiser.
cool. Who's Kaiser?
Axel's one
Wow.
of my favorite secondary writers, in my opinion.
Gatak used to be my favorite writer of all time.
We're forgetting about Ichijo.
Dang, I wish I would put him above like everything else. He'd be my favorite theme song, ending song, insert song. He'd be my favorite.
Yeah.
Everything.
Love Ichijo.
My favorite secondary writer is one I actually brought up, but no one got yet. So I'll just say Kamen Rider Zerono Sakura Yuto. Yuto-kun. The Yuto, the time-traveling boy, the lost
What
lover,
about
the
Kanadi?
cow, the man, the green guy. I love Sakura Yuto.
Up for sale is this green guy.
Tsuyoy.
He also used to be my favorite writer of all time ever.
It's a weird thing. If the season sucks, somehow the main writer of that show is so good in movies or crossover.
Like, it made me, like, think, like, Sogo... If, like... It made me think that Sogo's, like, a good, like, generational writer. Like, it'd be so hyped to see him in, like, the next, like, 10, 20 years.
Oh, right. My favorite. Here, I'll say that Zeronos used to be my favorite writer ever. And before that, my favorite main writer, like, main, would have been... Really loved Tsukasa. He used to be my favorite
he's sassy.
decade. Well, Tsukasa was my favorite writer, main writer. He wasn't my favorite writer of all time, but he was my favorite main writer. He was great. I love Tsukasa. He's so sarcastic. I love his attitude. And yes, he's great outside his own season, but that just makes it even better because he can hijack a season and make that season better. And that's just from one character, which is why I love him so much. However, I watched a new season And I like this character so much, I'm going to call him my favorite writer of all time, surpassing Tsukasa, Zeronos, but my favorite writer ever, and my favorite main writer ever
They're on.
is...
Rider Man.
Haruka.
Hibiki.
Wataru from Kiva, JK. Of course not. It's Haruka from Kamen Rider Amazons.
Wow, that's great.
Oh.
That is a curveball right there.
Isn't that weird, guys? My favorite writer ever, surpassing every other writer. I think there's been like 200 some writers at this point. Surpassing all 200 Kamen Riders ever is Haruka. He was just this innocent baby boy. And then he grew up to be this man that had to make his own decisions, his own sacrifices, his own everything. He had everything I loved about Yuto, his sacrifices. He's living in this world that, you know, is so bad, but he tries to make the best of it anyway. And then even in season 2, I still love Haruka. And Chihiro's better than Jin, don't at me. But Haruka...
What the fuck up?
Once again, shout out to Ferbus for making this template over here. As you can tell, Ferbus is the best Ferbus, so he immediately appeared there. So we're going to start out from bottom to top like we did last time. We already started out with Ferbus, who's the best Ferbus ever. So with Mooks, I figured it was just overall like monsters and villains, because there's the Mooks and then there's like the head villains. Like how you could say Yummies are the Mooks, and then the Greeds are like the top of the villains there. But I had a couple of weird choices because, like, in Blade, the undead, they're like their own Mook. What are they call it? They had dark roaches in the last 2 episodes, and I'm not sure if that would count because, like, it's the last 2 episodes. Masquerade Dopant Mooks, but that was like later on in the series, but they still count. Kuga was another weird one because they don't have anything lower than Grongi. They're all Grongi. I'm not sure. I kind of base it off that. If there was a lot of them, if they were in a faction, and if they were pretty much grunts or at least equal to. Oh yeah, worms too. They have like a hierarchy for worms.
I will say they might be my favorite Mook.
In Ryuki, they didn't really have Mooks per se. They had like a lot of one kaijin, but I don't know if that would count. I know Dragon Knight did. A lot of the monsters just kind of blend together for me. Like
unless
they're like the big bads of the season, Mooks are just Mooks.
Right.
They're there to fight in like a Bat Ride Wars game, you know? With my favorite Mook, I pretty much just went with designs. But let me just say that the Shocker Grunts were pretty high up there for me because they're so dorky looking. I just love seeing or hearing the E and then fighting. My favorite Mook is gonna be the Dustards from Forze, but I just really like their designs, honestly.
Yeah, they're kind of cool.
They're a bit simple, but that's kind of why I like them. They're not as simple as the Shocker Grunts, but but they look great. I really like how they come off. I like their ninja aesthetic. I love the little swords. I also like the name, the Dustards, because there's like Zodiards, and then there's the Dustards, and they come from like space dust and stuff. And I just think they're a pretty cool concept. Even though they weren't in the show much, they really weren't in the show a lot. Like, it's surprising they weren't in the show that often. But when they were, I like the fight scenes with them, and they did appear in Bat Ride Wars, so it was pretty cool to just like gun them down or like finish them off in a group and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, like how like insignificant Phase 2 Heisei made the Mooks and stuff, but like in Reiwa, in like 01, it's like they appear in every single episode, and there's like different factions and stuff.
The Kurokage Troopers were one, but they also had the Invest. That's what they were called. They also had the Invest.
Okay.
I like how they had 2 different Mooks, but the Kurokage Troopers I thought was really funny that became Mooks in the first place. And the Invest being there from like episode 1, that was cool too. So
yeah.
Overall, I just love the designs of the Dustards and stuff like that. Okay, favorite finisher. This also took quite a bit because one of the most famous things from Kamen Rider is the Rider Kick, or the other finishers like the Rider Punches and stuff like that. So Liz, I think you know more Showa than I do. So any Showa ones that stand out?
There's the X Kick. That's kind of cool. There's also like all the multitudes and different like Super 1 kicks.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of cool too, but like they're all kind of basic unless it's like Kamen Rider Black, where every single kick is like before Kamen Rider Black uses the kick, he also punches, and like he does it like in a combo sort of way. But like, yeah, Showa didn't really like differentiate their kicks that much, and Amazon's just straight up did not kick at all,
Yeah.
except for that one episode where he fought like the fruit bat guy. I don't know.
And that goes to show how older productions are. They couldn't be as flash as they are today compared to like X from the Showa season to like his updated acrobatic one that you see in like Showa versus Heisei, where he like jumps up and the Revocane's there like floating in the air. And you can tell the huge difference, but I like it anyway. The Showa kicks are so iconic. The Rider kick is the most iconic. It's what people know. But I like flashy. I like shiny. So my bias would automatically go towards Heisei. Phase 1 Rider kicks weren't the biggest. I think the biggest one I could think of is Faiza's kick, where it had a lot of CG, where he went through the kaijin. I thought that was cool. I like that kick. It's very flashy. It's very pretty. And all the Phase Riders had something like that. Decade would probably be the next flashiest, with him going through like all the cards, and I thought that's pretty cool. Okay, guys, I'm gonna compliment Kiva here real quick. Kiva's was pretty interesting. It built up pretty well because like his insignia was on the floor, like it became nighttime, and then he flew up in the air, and like his leg opened up, and I thought that was great. That's probably like one of the two things I like from Kiva.
That's basically why I want his figure art so bad. that kick.
Yeah, the kick is really pretty. Kuga's and Agito's are pretty great too. Kuga's is simple, I'd say is as simple as like the Showa kick, but there's like this certain nuance, I guess. Nuance might not be the right word, but
there's a lot of weight to it is the thing. Like especially the Rising Mighty kick is like it has like a lot of calamity damage and stuff. And
yeah, one of the most memorable Kuga kicks was when he became Kuga Rising Mighty. And then, like, half the city blew up. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But Agito's was another one I liked because it was just as simple as, like, a Showa or a Kuga kick. But adding his little insignia on the floor and, like, his horns opening up to show that he was going to do something powerful, that was great. I really liked it. But it's not just kicks, too. It's also, like, punches and stuff. Kamen Rider Joker has a Rider Punch finisher that looks pretty nice. It's a simple punch, but there's like this little effect added to it, so that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I know Showa Riders had different finishers too, because like in Z Cross they had like this weird hand holding thing. They had like a little laser that went up into the air.
The Rider kick is not the first named finisher in all of Kamen Rider. It's actually the Rider Gaish, which is like the Rider return, and he like Ichigo threw up the dude in the air, and then like he falls down on his head, and that was like the finisher.
Phase 2 is when things got really flashy. Decades was pretty much where it started, but then you got like Double where they CG the whole body and they like split into two and stuff. I thought that was cool. They had several different finishers like that. I think enough rambling. My favorite finisher in the whole Kamen Rider series, Drive's Rider kick, where he just goes into a circle, and it's really cool. It's really flashy. It's not as big as others would expect it to be, but it's still really pretty to watch. Like when I watched Drive live and the Raws came out, I just replayed that kick over and over again. It was so satisfying to watch. I loved it, even though he only did it like 3 times in the show. It was so good to watch anyway. I loved it. It's great.
My personal favorite is Tatoba kick, but even though it was only like used twice in the whole of O's, but like
favorite location, I had to think about this a little bit because I don't bring these up in History of Kamen Rider because they're not distinct enough for me, I guess, to like bring them up all that often. In fact, a lot of them are cafes. Cafe Nashita, the cafe from Blade, the cafe from I think Double had a cafe.
Ichigo had one too.
Oh yeah, Ichigo's like home base was a cafe. There's a lot of cafes in Kamen Rider, so after that it just kind of blends into me. But outside of like home bases, I was also thinking of just general locations, like the quarry that we all know that everybody fights in from like Superhero Tyson. But when I really think of distinct locations, my mind also goes to like the most iconic scenes in Kamen Rider, where like these things happen and I memorize where they are, and it just adds to the overall feeling of it.
Double. I really like Double's. The
detective agency, the Denliner. That might be cheating, but it's the Denliner.
Yeah.
It's a very recognizable train. It's very cool. Lots of scenes. Some of my favorite scenes in Deno take place in there. And it just looks nice. Same thing with the Sands of Time. The location is so gorgeous. I had to commission one of my friends to make art like this, where it's the Denliner and the Sands of Time up there. Yeah, it was great. I love this so much. So it could go either or, Denliner or Sands of Time, just because I enjoy them that much. Favorite phrase? I'd also have to think about, because I don't know Japanese. I only know the translations. But what are some of your favorites?
Oh gosh, any advice that was given by Hitoshi Hidaka from Hibiki.
Ore wa Tenkuji Takaru is a popular one. Iwai Wagamao is another popular one. Ore Sanjo is another popular one. I wasn't just thinking catchphrases or battle phrases. I was also thinking just regular old advice or stuff like that. Kuga was one of the first that came to me. Forzi was another one that came to me. Uchukita, let's settle this one-on-one. That's pretty cool. Favorite phrases, since I don't know Japanese, I just thought of the translations to them. Except one, I know like one Japanese phrase, and that's gonna have to be my favorite. It's Saisho ni tioku, ore wa kanari tsuyoi, from Zeronos. Zeronos is one of my favorite writers, one of my favorite characters, so of course it had to go to him too. Favorite villain? I've mentioned this before in one of my past videos, but the villains can be very hit or miss to me. But if they're good, they're really, really good, and I consider them some of the best villains. As I was going through my mind, Shocker's just like, E! And then they fight Ichigo and the other writers. Destron is the same thing. A lot of Showa villains were evil, but that Zeto's Doras was a pretty cool one that I liked. I think Doras just has a really, really cool design, especially for the time, like having animations combined with the suit. It was really nice. I liked it. So I was thinking mostly villain factions. Villain writers did come to mind, Dark Riders, but the Dark Riders we do have are generally missed to me because, like, Dark Kiva, blah. Dark Ghost, blah. Dark Kabuto, blah. I like Dark Kabuto's look. I think his suit is gorgeous,
Dude,
but like the
he
character...
just wanted to be with his own sister, bro. Come on.
Yeah, that was kind of creepy. Evolt and Kronos were two of the main villain writers that came to mind. I like Kronos, the suit especially. I like the character of Kronos, and I also like Evolt, both character and suit. But at the end of the day, their motives to being villains were like, let's take over the world. Or Kronos was like, let's take over the game. And that didn't really do it for me. Dan Kuroto was cool as a villain. But then when he became part of the good guys, same with Parado, when they became good, it kind of lowered their villain status overall to me. I liked them in the trilogy. That was cool, seeing the villain as a villain again. Oh yeah, other villain writers. I guess Baron for a bit. Decade was a villain for a little bit. Guy is pretty cool as a villain so far. I like Guy as a character. I know that's probably not gonna sit right with some of you, but I actually like Guy, because you're not supposed to like him. That's the point. So when people say he's the worst character, I'm like, but that's the point. Same with Michi from Gaim. You're not supposed to like him. Yeah, he's a bad character. That's the point.
Yeah, I'm glad that the actor for him also pointed that out and how proud he is as an actor.
Yeah, that interview was great to read through. Kaiza, I was split on because he's more of an anti-hero than an outright villain. because he did work with Takumi in the season. That as much as you guys hear that they don't really talk, they still work together. And when Kaiza became a quote unquote villain, it was for his own motifs that intertwine with other things that I won't get into here. But my favorite villain in Kamen Rider, I just chose one. I didn't choose a whole group like the Grong or anything. I just chose one villain, and my favorite villain would have to go to Heart from Kamen Rider Drive. He has almost pretty much everything I like in a villain. He's charismatic. He's smart. He knows what he's doing as the villain. And even when he became a Kamen Rider, even though I didn't like the suit as much, I'm really happy he became a Kamen Rider. And even though he became good for that one movie, it was just one movie. It wasn't the season. That's why he's still one of my favorite villains. Within the season, he's great. I love him. His dynamic between the other generals of the Roimudes and his dynamic with Shinosuke. Like when he says, "We Roimudes just wanted to live like humans," like that's so cool. I love that. His motives were great.
Yeah.
We'll just make the Heisei category pretty fast because you guys know. It's no surprise Hibiki is my favorite Heisei series. So favorite Showa series. I was gonna go with ZO or Z Cross, but those are specials, and I know a lot of you wouldn't like that. So as like a whole season, I haven't watched that much Showa, but what I have watched, I appreciate. I watched some of Ichigo. I appreciate that. Amazon was pretty cool. Amazon was pretty cool. I liked it. My favorite Showa series, Stronger. I know a lot of people are gonna point to Black and Black RX, but I got bored watching them. I know that's wrong and it goes against the Kamen Rider Bible. I'm sorry, but I just got kind of bored watching them. I haven't watched them in years though, so once we get through History of Showa, I'll give it another shot. Non-writer character. Out of the whole cast of the History of Kamen Rider, there are so many great ones. I already mentioned Poppy. Izu's great. Other writer girls are great too. Kiriko's a standout one. Misora's cool. But even outside of writer girls, other like supporting cast. Of course, Kuga has such a great supporting cast. I love the characters more than Kuga himself. I like Natsumi from Decade. Akiko. I liked Akiko a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys probably already know. I haven't praised this character as much as I should, but I honestly should start doing that. But one of my favorite non-writer characters it might be pretty obvious considering how much I like to talk about him, but I just don't as often as I do, is Ichijo from Kuga.
Yes.
Ichijo is just so great. I love the heart that's put into him. I love the writing that he has. I just love his whole character, and like there's this one Ichijo centered episode where like there's this other like police officer woman who likes him. He's like, come on, you should stop working and go out for once to relax. But he's like, I can't. I need to protect the city and Godai. And he specifically says, and Godai. And I just... my heart, guys. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Mega Yellow? That's
You're-
the chick who's... Yeah, that's Mega Yellow.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah, that's
recognize. But just Ichijo as a whole is great. Like I don't even mind that he didn't become a Kamen Rider in the show. I know he became a Kamen Rider in the manga, but like just
Kind of,
Ichijo as himself, I love him enough as he is. He doesn't even need to be a writer for me to love him so much. Favorite vehicle, I was gonna meme and choose the horse that Ichigo rode, but I figured that'd probably be too easy. So I chose the sled from Ichigo. Just kidding. Again, writer machines aren't something that I bring up a lot. I'm gonna bring up Kiva once again, guys. The chopper that Kiva uses is pretty cool.
The lowrider? The lowrider?
Yeah, that's great. I like that.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately, it's in Kiva, so... Jen already said it. My favorite vehicle is gonna go to the Trideron. We all know my least favorite. We all know it. It's obviously Kamen Rider Hibiki. Just kidding, it's Kiva. Yeah, least favorite is Kiva, so let's move on to the favorite driver. I like the Deca driver. It's really sleek. I'm a fan of belts that are either really sleek or really bulky. I love either one. So like Heisei's driver is up there because of how much of a brick it is. Like I wish I could bring all my belts out so I could just talk about them individually.
Oh my god! Why?
So this is
Classic
the
toys.
Dano belt. It's pretty tiny. This is pretty cool. I like the sleekness of it. It's really nice. The blade buckle is pretty cool too, although this one's Garen's. This one's great. I love this one. It's very it's very rectangular, and I love that. And I love that you can like flip it, and the card flips too. I like the card motif in the first place. So like the Delta driver, of course, it used to be my favorite, but like I have one that's better than that. Jiku driver, it's a lot tinier than I thought it would be, surprisingly. And I don't know why. The ride watches are pretty cool. Like to hold in your hand, they're pretty cool. But
Yeah.
But the Ziku driver itself is so tiny. Well, at least compared to me, because like when I try to put it on, and I'm not a big guy as I used to be, but like it's still kind of tiny on me. Gamer driver from Xade. I like how much of a brick this is, and it's fun to open and close too. Glass driver. I actually really like the design for this glass driver. I know a lot of people don't, and a lot of you might say it's ugly, in fact, but I actually really like the design for this glass driver. I like the Gowanger brace from Gowanger. My favorite Kamen Rider drive driver ever is gonna go to the Ghost belt, the Ghost driver. It has a combination of it looking just really sleek, but at the same time, it's like a brick. I love this thing. It's great.
Okay, my favorite is the Arkle. I like how simple it is.
yeah.
I like that all the forms are shown, and I really the piece that goes on when he turns into rising forms or the ultimate form.
With all that being said, good night.
Oh my